Good evening to all you free enterprise fans. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Commander Leonhardt, joined here in the comms booth by Gundam pilot Spaz. We've got Smaped on the restreams and Ascorian tracking for Game 3 of Dia versus Penguin8r. We're moving on to the semifinals. Gundam, how are you feeling tonight?
Oh, I'm feeling fantastic. This is not only the final match of this matchup. This is the final match of the round of 8. All of the other competitors have been chosen. The winner here will go out to face X Pancraz in the semifinals. This is pretty thrilling.
And somebody with these fake objectives is looking for some rudeness, apparently. Some of the best hits of bosses you don't want to see in certain spots. Conveniently, one of the bosses is an objective.
Yeah, but I mean, we never want to see Galbez at the harp because that's gonna ruin our music. So
No.
I don't appreciate that troll.
Agreed, but defeating Wyvern, one of the actual objectives, and Wyvern at Asura definitely deserves its spot on this series of rudeness.
So we have in this match tonight, of course, two titans of free enterprise. Penguin8r, the champion of Highway to the Zima Zone, the second iteration of the main tournament, the winter tournament, as it were. And then Dia, who is a constant favorite, but she has not won any of these major events, but is nearly always in the top picks for coming in first place. So who do you like tonight? Who do you think is going to advance?
It's a tough call, definitely. Dia, they both have incredible game knowledge and terrific execution. Penguin8r has that prior experience, and I've gone head to head with him once. Spoilers, it did not end well for me. And Dia just has such an aggressive style, will charge after the moon and other things early with less than even other experienced runners will, and often makes it pay off. I think it's a close race, but if you're going to put me on the spot like that, I'm going to go with Penguin8r.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to say Dia. I think only because that Dia is known for not looting, not shopping, and in our flags in the Swiss round, in the bracket round, we don't do any shopping at all, just due to the limited money that we have.
That's a good point, but we are underway. Who's joining Edward for this start? Hello, we've got Team Anna, and the Magis Sisters says, have a pan. And lots of money, 62,000.
I do like a pan start. It's one of those things that's out of my head. Gonna try to conserve that Fabul check until I get an underground access if possible. So we only have to go there once. That's a good healthy start.
Yeah, and Pancraz in chat seeing the two things that caught my eye in the starter kit, the ninja hat and the samurai bow. We have some work for Eddie to do here at the beginning.
I mean, we do joke that Eddie on these flags doesn't really pull his weight, but if there's no other choice and we need to do some damage, give him a decent bow, and he can get us there.
And the Sineki flag had him come in with some Medusa arrows. There might be a boss that's vulnerable to petrification that could come in handy for.
Yeah, I mean, if I was running this race right now and I saw those two starting characters, I would be terrified. But we're going to see how our runners adapt to it. Penguin8r already looking for some gear, checking some shops.
Picks up a longsword for an eventual ninja, and then immediately regrets that decision apparently and resets out of it. De-equipping that samurai bow onto Edward. Gonna see if she believes that's enough damage to take on a boss now. Although looks like she's going to be doing some shopping as well. And penguin8r are already taking advantage of the fact that Tella starts out with exit, making some loot checks that you see less often, such as the abandoned house in Mist. Gets himself a blizzard spear. Too shabby.
I mean, the benefit to those checks is that they're quick and they're a little bit out of the way. But if you're gonna you're gonna check the shops there, you're gonna grab those chests real quick. You can combine 2 stops into 1.
Dia showing that aggression that she's known for. penguin8r with this party understandably wants a little more power. Dia says, I got that starter kit items. Let's see what's on. Yeah, a small child is on Hobbs.
I mean, an early Rydia could be some benefit if we can find Sylph. Otherwise, she's not going to bring too much damage to this party until she gets some levels on her.
Yeah, the Sylph as the free summon would be nice early. Yeah, part of the problem with that is you're either going to need to find it in a chest, and if you're dealing with T-Pro there, or you're going to have to, because it's just hard to imagine shelling out money for even a Sylph summon at 30k on these flags.
Yeah, that would be half of the big chunk of change that our runners received at the start of this, and 61,000 is near the top. I think what's the maximum you can get on these flags? It's like 64,000.
I want to say it's 20 to 80, but I couldn't swear to that.
Oh, okay. So more than I thought, but
64,
still.
Yeah, it's still on the high end, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. But to spend half of it on your Sylph summon, you are betting that you're not going to get much more power than Rydia can provide in this early game.
Yeah, and our runners will have more than just the 62k. They'll get money from the boss fights. If they turn on random encounters or use sirens, they'll get money from that too. But the main reason funds are so limited is we have the sell 0 flag on. Anything that sells in a shop, well, it doesn't. You get no money. And the chests that normally hand you money give you no money because they give you whatever the item sells for.
Yeah, so it looks like there was not a key item as a reward for the outline spot, but what did Dia pull from there?
Soma drop. Thank you, Snape.
I mean, with Tella, that's not a terrible item, but not something I would prefer over underground access.
Yeah, as Xenocat is pointing out in chat, after ordeals and Tella remembers all the spells, we need a Soma drop to have Tella cast the Meteo. But probably not what was being hoped for.
And now with Tella and a Soma drop in play, now we can wager whether we will see Meteo from one of our runners tonight.
And some J item looting is helping Dia. Zeus Rage made short work of the Odin, and now the Boreas that was found in Antlion, also taking care of the guests.
Looks like both of the runners have Rydia down right now. If Rydia stays down, that they could just be getting their anchoring situation out early and just leave it as one less thing to worry about.
How about 30k for a Sylph summon? Dia checks the one chest that's often checked when you go to Hobbs. Sometimes with Tella, you take the west side of Hobbs, but finds a Sylph summon and says, what could a free summon give me that would even compare to this? I'm not even taking the time.
That certainly can be a huge difference between the two runners. penguin8r does make that check, so yeah, back to pretty much dead even between our runners here. Yeah, so Rydia is going to have a lot more utility awake rather than asleep for this early couple rounds.
And penguin8r does go ahead and check the west side of Hobbs. Find a Stardust J item. Help push through another fight.
You find it's interesting that, and I believe it's just because of how little power that Dia currently has in her party, that she is going to do the Fabul Gauntlet spot now, as opposed to waiting to do all 3 checks after she gets underground access, and that's probably just because she doesn't think she can get through Ordeals or the Baron in spot right now to check those in a timely manner.
We have leg located. Kind of a convenient time to switch to that dancing dagger too. I mean, it made sense on the face of it, just because he was struggling even with that samurai bow, and sooner or later you're going to run out of arrows. But Rubicon with the fight counters, it's convenient not to have to deal with that.
Unfortunate glare there, taking down Rydia. That's not what Dia wanted. I think Dia wanted to use this fight to get Rydia up to a level where she could actually use Self.
Yeah, agreed. Self is one of the 2 glitches we have available, so as long as Rydia successfully lands the Self and isn't in the center slot, then she gets the MP back that she spent on it. And with that, Dia is through. We'll see what the Fabul defense reward is and see where penguin8r goes.
penguin8r going right to Ordeals. We're going to see if this is the better play. Let's see what the King's reward is for Dia.
Soma drop plus tele equals Ordeals. Oh, but the magma key is in Fabul defense. That's spicy.
Yeah, so Dia forgoing the pan as as that utility item is a big brain play here. So she now has full access to the underworld, and with that pan is going to be able to get 2 key item checks right away. Three key item checks right away.
Yeah, and as you were alluding to when Dia first went there, it's not unusual to leave that Fabul check for last, hoping to get underground without it, but not the play today. I'm in ring. Not terrible. Over on penguin8r's side.
Yeah, chat is sad that we aren't going to get a hook route, but with our 2 random objectives being both bosses, those bosses could be grouped together in an unfortunate location. So keep our fingers crossed for on that hook route, or maybe up in the giant. That would be extremely spicy.
And penguin8r locating a dragon whip in the last spot. I see a defeat wyvern objective. I see a dragon whip in Iridia, and I go,
Also helps Rydia scramble a couple eggs as well.
Yeah, that too. That's also a giant, and that whip's going to do quadruple damage. Speaking of wyvern, so how about that Ordeals? Arrgh. Oh, we didn't need the dragon whip after all. We just needed a star veil, but it was a nice thought.
It was, and Edward's getting all that nice experience. I'm sure that was penguin8r's first choice.
Just as I'm sure Edward will be his first choice for his next Soma drop.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely a big relief for penguin8r that the wyvern is right here in an early spot. Dia's not going to fade that for very long, having Tella in her party, so she will eventually have that 4th objective as well.
Sura in the back attack spot. This can be a little on the rude side. I've seen runners bounce off this spot before. Having that Stardust to help things along will be nice, and Sylph will certainly get its work done. I think with Sylph we're fine, but for different circumstances, this could be bad.
Yeah, I mean, you always just desperation move is throwing the Star Veils, but at this spot, you want to maybe just lifelock Asura with Edward and chip away at her HP if you really get into a tough spot. But penguin8r seems just to be throwing everything that he can at Asura.
Looks like he may be setting up double Star Veil now, but over on Dia's side, she's checked the Feymarch freebie chest and has found the Twin Harp and also found a Sorcerer Robe along the way for her radio.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we want to caution, of course, that Star Veils are expensive. Our money options are limited. So blowing 2 Star Veils on a single boss, even if it gets penguin8r through quickly, is certainly not optimal.
Yeah, Cell Zero does make you reconsider a lot of basic strategies. We've got an massive power couple in Feymarch between DKC and Antlion.
Yeah, I think that's what these flags are. I mean, in previous tournaments, the bracket stage or the second round has had, you know, just items less available. You know, like made the randomization in the shops just have weaker items. But keeping standard shop randomization but limiting your money, I think, leads to a bunch of interesting choices, and really kind of challenges your preparedness and what you can do.
Oof. Yeah, trying for Eddie Hyde strats, but just can't quite get Edward to RA1. I didn't see the actual agility numbers to figure out the ratio, but you've got to be more than 2.5 times the agility of your anchor to operate at that max speed of RA1, and just wasn't able to get the hide.
What an interesting choice to make, right? Because I mean, she's got 3 more key item checks, essentially free key item checks to make. Has the harp in hand, but just decides for that kind of bold play. I mean, that's what makes Dia really interesting to watch.
Yeah, and Marilyn pointing out in chat that the Dragon Whip off of Hobbs will do wonders for Rydia's agility, but that might be someone to buffer into an RA2 Edward, as Pinkgrass is pointing out, and that might get the job done.
Now, I know Dia made a quick trip to Kaipo, but I don't think that she checked the bed. I don't know if you saw if she did or not.
I don't either. I didn't see that check either. Do, however, have a tower key from the hand bonk, so that's another spot that Dia can check. Makes the move to the lower tower of Babel a bit more attractive.
Yeah, so Chad is confirming the bed was Kane. So having these key item checks available, if she is able to pull that Sand Ruby, pick up that Kane, that will make these fights up on ordeals all that much more faster.
Yeah, because penguin8r is going to be the first through ordeals, but when Dia gets there, you imagine she's going to have a quicker time of it. Oh, and Sheila handing over the Adamant Rock, half of Forge. And apparently, I missed it, but our tracker's covering us, and penguin8r finding a pass on ordeals. Don't hate that.
Do not hate that. I mean, with Dia already has the harp, has half of the forge. We have 1 boss objective completed with the Wyvern. We might not need to go to the moon, which makes that pass all the more valuable.
Yeah, take the quick trip to Ordeals, and if you're playing it a bit aggressive and going after Z with a party that you're not quite sure you can handle it because you don't want to take the time to grind, then going back in for another round straight from Troya is definitely better than walking down from the ribbon room.
Yeah, and Dia has plenty of checks here on the blue planet left. I mean, we still have not even peaked the character at the Baron Inn, so there can be plenty of time here to determine whether the moon is going to even be an option for these runners.
Yeah, we've got Baron Inn, we've got Dwarf Castle, we've got Feymarch. We, thanks to that tower key, have both parts of Lower Babel. Plenty of options still.
I mean, I would be a little upset to see our last match of the round of 8 not even go to the moon, but at the same time, that kind of shows the versatility of these flags and these objectives. It's pretty exciting.
Charge into a sparkle with 1 hit point on everybody. No big deal. Isn't Dia doing Dia things? Oh, but penguin8r is located D-Mist in the Baron Inn.
And a blank spot where a character is supposed to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, made things a little interesting moving into the bracket stage by saying you don't get dupes. Makes you do a little more work to fill out your party. Now that D-Mist is found, like our boss hunts are pretty much over, unless that Leviathan ends up being required, and we do not find the hook or the pinktail, or well, the combination of both, that is. And penguin8r, knowing that this is a 0 XP spot, just goes ahead and takes out the doctor and ends this part quickly with an explode. Go after Lugay in a quote-unquote real fight. An end to this. While we wait for the incredibly slow Dr. Lugay to allow this fight to continue, to give a shout out to Escorian for handling the tracking, making all the lights light up, and Spape D for taking care of Restream and rolling this wonderful seed, and Gundam Pilot Spaz for joining me here.
Yeah, and Commander Leonhardt, always a pleasure to be on comms with you. Always a pleasure to hang out. If the fact that we're watching this kind of high quality free enterprise race is kind of just icing on the cake.
Agreed. So, the Baron Inn check has been cleared. penguin8r has a Zeus Gauntlet, which can currently be used by no one in his party. If he goes through Dwarf Castle, Rydia can start using it. And I imagine the very next thing he does is check that Demas.
Holding my breath right now.
Okay.
You know what? I mean, it's still continuing to open more key item checks on Earth.
Yeah, need a hook for that one to pay off, but it has potential.
Yeah, and penguin8r, completely out of other choices, is now going to do the football check.
That'll get him. And he can go on the same paths that Dia's already taken. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just this penguin8r coming to this check later definitely puts him at a disadvantage to Dia. Just because she's gotten all of those free key item checks out of the way, and her routing is now pretty clear for the next little bit, whereas penguin8r still doesn't quite know what's coming up next.
And you gotta wonder when the heart check is gonna be made. It's a spot with some insane magic resistance unless you happen to get alt gauntlet there. And physical options right now, I believe, consist of a dragon whip. Do you trust a dragon whip Rydia to take you all the way through that? I'm not sure.
Well, if it was a dragon, but are there any actual dragon bosses left? Paladin is the only one I still question whether that's a dragon or
Paladin?
Paladin is a dragon.
Second half of Dark Elf, conveniently shaped like a Paladin.
All of the things that have been getting our runners through this seed so far, which is Sylph and Dancing Dagger, are both magic based. So going to do the harp check with them is not going to be very helpful, having the magic defense there.
Oh, and thank you to the extra eyes in chat pointing out that Dia did not scoop up the Dragon Whip off of Ordeals. It's not an ideal party, as Chad is pointing out. Rydia Sylph is your answer for wrecking things, or switching off to a Dragon Whip. But maybe if you're fighting something with elemental resistance, you can drop in the appropriate level 3 spell from Tella, take it down. But pretty soon we're going to be running into bosses that are just too powerful for that to really work.
Yeah, not without getting ready a whole bunch of levels very quickly. Which it's possible. I mean, if we find sirens, Rydia can scramble some eggs with that Dragon Whip. But other than that, we need some characters who can do some damage.
So about that dwarf castle, penguin8r goes, sees Valvalis in the front spot, and says, "Oh, thank you." Oh, what have you done, Smapedy? What have you done? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's like this. I mean, the seed. Both runners have been going through it pretty quickly, but if either of them doesn't get that Sylph, they have a much harder time. If the fact that Dia doesn't have that Dragon Whip might make her grind a little slower. If the grind is indeed eggs, there's some weird stuff going on with this seed. It might be deceptively rude. We just haven't seen it yet.
It might be time for a penguin8r special. Go up tower, but just go for the super cannon room. Get that little bit of boost there and head out and just hope that it's either a key item that opens up something more doable, maybe even an earth crystal, but even just a Baron key, give you access to some more party members.
Does penguin8r meme that hard to do the move named after himself?
I mean, maybe, but I'm just thinking it might be a legit move, whether penguin8r is playing or not.
It's like Dia's checking those other boss locations, the 2 free boss locations on Earth. penguin8r is going to get his twin harp right now, and we'll see if he takes the bold choice and takes on one of our Feymarch bosses like Dia attempted earlier.
And Dia finding Dark Imps and Waterfall, that I'd say that's bad news. Imps can be a little rude in some particularly punchy spots since they get 3 punches, but given that they're a free boss, you tend to accept seeing them in a late spot just for the easy kill.
It's a good shop. It's gotta annoy you to pull the Still Quiver after buying 3.
I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I think the Elements Mylon is red Solaris, but I believe that they are oriented there in the same order that they are in the Giant, and that the Mylon approaches from the south or the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, penguin8r showing that he also does not have the correct agility to pull off the Dark Knight Cecil here.
Looks like Diaz decided now is the time. I'm going to use the 2 sirens that came in the initial kit and get some more power on the party. Making good use of Tella's weak. Tella showing off why he is the utility mage, and for all the heck that some people give him, you should not snub him showing up early.
Yeah, I think this is a good place as any to use those free sirens. I mean, obviously, anyone would want their full team or at least one melee character, but
Yeah.
we're going to get a little extra power. Rydia's going to have a little more magic to make that self a little more powerful. So Dia's probably going to go up to tower when she sees that Vivalis, though, because I don't think she's going to attempt that one.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, there's no time greater than now that a party is in desperate need of a boost.
No, we have a bard with a bow. We have a child with a whip. We're gonna try to get through Cave Magnus.
I mean, you can only spend so much time puttering around feeling bad about this party. At some point, you've got to take the bull by the horns and go after something, and Diaz decided twin harp time. And so is penguin8r.
Yes. Now, if I had this party, I would probably continue to feel bad for weeks afterwards. But that's why I'm not around to vote.
I'd be asking who the restreamer was, what I did to upset them. I mean, and a part of me will be thinking, well, it's game 3, and the fans must be happy.
Yeah, it is. It's I do like watching good runners get power overwhelming, especially when they're up against a good matchup, because that makes an interesting fast seed. But I also really like watching good runners get absolutely nothing and have to deal with it as well.
Well, root seeds as a player are how I get a little better every time I deal with one, and watching runners go through root seeds, you also are more likely to pick up a thing or two. It is time. It is time for DJ Spoony Bird to play us a song. Dia has made it through. That's a sand ruby. So hey, go get a cane.
This, sometimes on comms I do get tunnel vision focusing on a single runner. Penguin8r also nearly through this karate man here, but I can't tell you that I saw him in madness. I was so hyped for one harp song, I didn't realize we were getting double.
Both runners should be beelining to Kane, and Penguin8r might stop for a siren to power him up, but I imagine that Dwarf Castle is on the ticket. Penguin8r is the one that's peaked at Dwarf Castle, right? His Dia doesn't know yet?
Penguin8r knows there's a Valvalis in Dwarf Castle. Dia is not yet aware. I also want to make note that the song was City of Flickering Destruction from Legend of Mana. It was quite a lovely track.
Yeah, Calm Lamity doing another fine job with the harp translation. Yeah, heading to Feymarch now? You have something drain for... You have a Dwarf Axe. Okay. That makes for a pretty slow Kane. That DKC has clearly been on her mind.
Yeah, that's an interesting use of Kane right off the bat. There's a lot of respect there. That would not have crossed my mind at all.
Yeah, didn't either. Like it. I definitely like it. You look at that DKC and you think, if I can get this, then I have something that quite possibly my other runner doesn't have. So,
this may give Penguin8r a little bit of a damage advantage here. Gonna use those two sirens with Kane in his party. Dia used them right before going. Dia used those in an effort to get through Cave Magnus.
Yep, and Penguin8r went in as is, so took him a little longer, but has the advantage now, as you said. And there it is. Dia gets the hide in time. That's going to see us through, and we're going to be finding out what the reward is for defeating the King of Feymarch.
That is, I mean, that's such a big brain play. Like, just you, oh, I have a level 10 character. Let me throw this drain spear on him. That's awesome.
Yeah, very heads up idea.
And that I mean, that opens up
that's
the rat
important.
tail. And if there is a pink tail hiding somewhere, Dia will be one objective ahead.
So, Edward has definitely shown his worth in a few other spots this seed, but nowhere so far has he shined brighter than getting through an incredibly rude Leviathan spot.
Yeah, and Dia's not going to waste any time to check that rat tail. This is, I mean, this is going to be a big divergence because I'll be shocked if Penguin8r goes back to Feymarch before even doing Tower at this point. You know, his Kane's going to be leveled up after these two fights, and he'll be ready to take on some tougher bosses.
Yeah, whenever you get something that's a little spicy, a little like maybe my opponent doesn't have this in a 1v1, you want to follow up on it. You want to get whatever advantage it might possibly have. So yeah, you check this character, you turn in the rat tail, and you go on.
Oh, I didn't even think about this. That didn't even cross my mind, but yeah, Dia also has another character available to her.
Yeah. Well, and the lovely Evelyn shop, which has coffins and Marcus today.
Sirens may not be available in shops in this seed, which would be unfortunate. But I think we still have a moon shop to check, and I don't think anyone's been to Dwarf Town, which his name is escaping me now.
Tamra. Yeah, I haven't seen a Tamra. So, good thing there was a magma key in Kabul, eh?
Yikes. Yikes.
And finding Sid isn't too bad. You can assume that anchor roll that Dia used Kane for to get through Edward with that dwarf axe.
Yeah, I mean we've picked up a couple axes, I believe, so far in the seed. So, yeah, a Sid is not a bad find. He also starts off at a pretty high level 20, and he makes a good anchor if you're in a bind towards the end of the game.
Now for the rat tail turn in. Okay, things are opening up for Dia.
Yeah, this is, I mean, that's for sure. This is a big advantage for Dia. I mean, with the Sid, and now 2 additional key item checks are open to her. I mean, she hasn't even checked the tower. She hasn't gone to Dwarf Castle. She's got plenty of checks left. We're 41 minutes into this seed, and nearly the entire Earth is wide open. I mean, the only thing that she's missing is the Luca key and Earth Crystal at this point.
Yeah, other than that, everything is open to be checked, and Darkness Crystal has to show up sooner or later. Bill Rain's Sid was hanging out in Cave Evelyn on the hook route.
Yeah, Dia is also 1 key item away from the coveted 10 key item threshold.
And Dia staying at what's becoming known as the Motel 6. When funds are limited, just spend a quick 50 gold rather than one of your precious cabins.
Yeah, nearly any other seed you know, cabin or a tent is faster, but when you're limited on funds, take any healing you can get.
Exactly. And an Edge showing up for Penguin8r in Dwarf Castle. That's a good character find.
I would say that's a better character than Sid. And Penguin8r did buy that one longsword very early in the seed, in the summoning town.
I think he reset it, but
oh, did he? Okay.
Most likely he's remembered its spot, and so if he wants them, he can go grab one.
Yeah, I do. I love CPU in this spot. This is only a 3,000 HP spot. Penguin8r should be through this in almost no time.
Get a little bit of low 199 action, but should be fine.
Oh yeah, and chat pointing out that Edge is a pre-backroad ninja.
Yeah, coming in with a boomerang, which is super convenient for this CPU.
Ooh, Dia, remembering that she was still on Wyvern Standard Time when she entered that fight with the Magus Sisters and resetting out very quickly.
Yeah, that's going to be a really long fight on Battle Speed 6 with all of the times the Magus Sisters are starting their chains.
A great use of Rydia's new summons that she just learned magically by defeating Valvalis, and Penguin8r is through.
Now, and Warlick pointing out that if we are in fact on a Sirenless seed, Edge can steal Sirens off of the alerts in the Tower of Babel. That's another good value for our versatile ninja. And somehow the CPU grows a hand and crawls up to the crystal. Don't ask. Well then, Dia has a hook that Penguin8r doesn't know about, but Penguin8r has an Earth Crystal.
Yeah, that's I mean, if Penguin8r really isn't happy with his party at this point, there's two unchecked characters waiting for him.
Finds a Thunderclaw in the Dwarf Axe shop, your Dwarf Castle shop. You'd love to see that when you have either a ninja or a punch mage. Blue robe! Blue robe!
Is it a rude one or an easy one? Rude
Hey,
one.
that long pause. I'm sure Dia knew it even before the battle started, but the going to the battle just took a breath too long for it to be Water Hag, and here we go.
So the fake king of Baron today was a bunch of monsters in a trench coat.
Yeah, you'll love to see it. It could be a lot ruder than this, or it's just a time-consuming annoyance.
I mean, Rydia with that virus is making quick work of all of these encounters. It's just the time getting in and out of the encounters is what eats it up.
Penguin8r gonna put off that Earth Crystal for a moment. While he's here, is gonna head into the Tower of Babel. Maybe for just part of it, maybe for the whole thing.
Oh, you love to see it.
Regardless, he's starting at the Super Cannon room. And a couple of Baron guards who, apparently fleeing the monster revolution in Baron Castle, have decided to take over the post here.
not where I would want to see the Baron guards. It's essentially a free boss in a free boss location. Well, DM may have won the character lottery.
So speaking of characters the other person doesn't have, Dia has found Fu in Baron. That's huge. There's a reason he sat the bench in the last tournament.
And we're plenty of bosses deep into this seed right now. He's going to be nearly complete with his spell list.
And no, penguin8r going for the full tower, continuing up after dealing with the Baron guards. Yeah, checking the Baron trash can, finding a legend sword. That's an objective set up for her. She doesn't know it, but if she goes to dwarf, she will be in go mode. Go up in the booth, we're in no mode. And we know this is a water hag because we've already seen Alt Gauntlet. penguin8r doesn't know. He's waiting with some anticipation, I'm sure. Dia finds a freebie in the Baron basement, some dolls, give us an hourglass. There are a few other ways too, but this is doable.
Oh, I may be a little bit behind you, but wait, if Dia goes to dwarf, she'll be in go mode because
that's where the Earth Crystal is. And she can forge. Oh, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Clear.
No. Sorry. My bad, everyone. I'm losing my mind here.
I thought I was, so I think we're on the same page.
No, that's totally me. There's like a different flag set I play a lot over on the ladder called Sea Hero, where opening the treasury is an objective. Yeah, I'm just
gotcha
over here, y'all.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now we're actually in no mode as Dia has located as the pink tail has been located.
Like I'm pretty sure I haven't seen a noodle in this seat yet. But I guess Commander definitely knows what he's talking about.
Generally, not always.
It's okay. It's because of all those. It's because of all the aeons you've been using, right?
Where was the pink tail? Help.
penguin8r just pulled the pink tail from the Odin spot.
Okay, it wasn't in the Baron basement. All right.
No, I'm sorry.
Good,
from no. From the top of tower. It was Dia who was
all myself.
Yeah, so top of tower is the pink tail.
Okay. So penguin8r needs hook and a legend sword. Is hanging out behind that DKC. Legend sword is in the Baron basement, which you need the hook to get to. Yeah, needs a pink tail from top of tower, and that is where we are. And was any of that wrong, Gundam?
I've already confused the two runners within the last 3 minutes, so I'm going to say yes. A long sword for penguin8r. That's
hey, sure.
At least one, and we know where more are. Berserk now. Commentators hurt themselves in confusion.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, we commentator curse maybe, but we are not seeing the moon in the seed.
Yeah. And we haven't seen Leviathan, but only 4 objectives need to be completed to get the crystal and be able to fight Zoromas. So things are still under control.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Dia could surprise us by taking a different route, but if she's already underground, I imagine the tower would follow the dwarf castle, and she'll be in go mode.
Ooh. I mean, Hanzo in the treasury. That's a good rating right there already. We've seen some other nice things too.
We talked about a lot about how early in the seed the character selection was very poor, but looking at Dia's party right now, you wouldn't think that.
No, Edge, Fu, Kane, Sid, and Renia. Yeah, no complaints here. It was a very good treasury for penguin8r, but he also spent a fair amount of time fighting the dreaded inventory boss.
Yeah, we did see Dia do some selling earlier. I'm not sure if penguin8r has. Like, that's, I think, just a way of keeping her, like, movements consistent, because she's not going to get any money for that. But yeah, it's definitely a way to keep your inventory under control.
But yeah, knowing that the DKC is hard required because the hook led to 2 different objectives means that every moment that penguin8r spends not going back after it is a moment that just isn't paying off for him. It's perfectly understandable. It's a rude spot, and fading Fey March is something I do a lot, but this just isn't the seed for it.
Yeah, I guess penguin8r's best bet is if Dia Fate's Tower finds the darkness crystal and starts to hunt the moon, but that's a big maybe.
Sparkle and Zot 1.
Oh, that noodle.
The noodle that penguin8r wants. And Dia's going right where Dia needs to go, to the tower.
Yeah, certainly, like, that choice of taking the level 10 cane and with the drain spear to get the right agility to tackle the correct boss in the correct spot to get the correct item, like that, there's such an amazing play, and it's such a great understanding of how the game works. Yeah, just I'm completely floored that she's thought of it, and it's amazing that it's paying off so well for her.
Yeah, like you said, just the presence of mind, seeing that cane and immediately slapping a dwarf axe on him. Just, it was ticking there in her head, like, that aggressive nature, like, I can take him. I can take that Dark Knight. I'm not scared of you. I just need a little more help. And the moment she had it, she was back there.
And so Dia knows exactly what boss she's about to face here.
Yeah. Simple water hag. But yeah, Penguinator's best hope, I think, is find the Leviathan here, find something chaining like a Luca, not directly finding a darkness, and then deciding to go back after that DKC. But Penguinator's already ditched Edward, right?
I think so.
We'll see in a moment.
Sure. Yeah, we will.
Well, if Edward's on the floor, he's going to have trouble getting to the speed he needs to get back to DKC, though.
Penguinator gets his own Fusoya, though.
It's true. He's his first true white mage of the seed. It's not an easy call. You understand Penguinator's hesitation, especially seeing a Fu right behind.
Yeah, and with the final grind and not being 100% certain right now.
And he is holding on to that Edward. Might still be thinking about that DKC.
Or Eddie Strats towards the end are certainly still on the table if you just forego grinding entirely.
But Dia has her go mode on into trap chests. Dragon's our boss here. No Leviathan joy. Leviathan here would have saved Penguinator the trip back into Baron Castle to get the Legend Sword after he gets his way back to grabbing that hook.
Dia pulling a Bahamut, which is a summon that I would have liked to see a little bit earlier. Now that she's in go mode,
yeah,
not going to get much help.
A little late. Would have made short work of a lot of things in this seed. Bill, Leviathan could also be at the Giant, could also be at the bottom of Sealed Cave, could be behind the package. There are options.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the worst item that Penguinator could have pulled, I think.
I missed it. Was it Darkness?
It's the Darkness Crystal, yep.
Yeah, that is almost certainly. I think that does put him to the moon, unless that low-level Porum Anchor is enough to make him think, I can take that DKC. We might. Oh, wait, we are going back to Fey March.
Yeah, you know what? He checked his agility on Edward before heading back to the underground. He's going for that DKC.
Yeah, he's behind Dia, but he's on the right road.
I mean, he has the pigtail in hand. Still has to get through the king spot or the Odin spot in Baron Castle in order to get the Legend Sword, right?
Yes, and it's Oh wait, Legend was. I think Legend was Baron Trash.
Was that the trash can?
I think.
That might be worse because that is
a gauntlet.
Well, because of the gauntlet, plus it's also a check that people, some runners, wait to do till after Odin because Odin can be quicker depending on the boss there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cutscene's long, and yeah, a lot of runners, if they're one key item away, will cut across first. Unfortunately, it's just Calbrenna dolls in the basement, so it won't be too much a time sink. Penguinator is through on the back of that Porum Anchor, and that Edward is about to be rewarded with a hook, and that chain will lead him to go mode if he follows it.
He had just bought a whole bunch of Star Veils, which means well, you know what that means.
Hey,
We're going to fight
Well,
Z.
I mean, I don't know if it means Edward. No, there's no Edward. This means Fu and friends. Okay. It means Z flags are in chat. That's what it means.
It does. It does. And some vampires as well. So we're gonna see some 1200 HP strats here to end out with a round of 8.
Wait, she hasn't turned in the pink tail? No actual crystal?
Oh, did she not?
I'm not sure. Chat is saying no.
Oh no, she moved too quickly.
Oh, she's gonna get here and realize does not have a crystal.
Did she did save? Did she save after doing the shopping?
The save when you land there is almost reflexive. You land and you save.
She realized it. She figured it out.
And she realized it. She resets out. She called herself right about there. Okay.
Oh God!
Didn't have to get to the Z fight to realize that. Did she do any? All of that shopping was outside Troya, right?
Starvales were in. I forget what Starvales were. Vampires were in Troya.
Okay, so she'll need to buy a few more things. Penguin8r also turning in the pink tail to get the white shirt, but still needs to get a hold of the Baron key and head into Baron Castle. Rat tail gives Baron. So Fu and friends can be pretty slow, but Dia's still gonna have to Dia would have to have this go off the rails towards the end of the fight, I think, for this not to work.
Yeah, the thing about 1200 HP, Edward strats, they take like 17 minutes. 1200 HP strats significantly faster than 80 strats at around 10 minutes, and very consistent as long as you get the timing down.
Penguin8r launching the whale? This might be bad. I don't know if this is just a quick shop check for sirens and a save on the earth and out, or if this is a full commitment to looking for Leviathan and the Legend Sword or the Legend Sword up top.
Could also be a character check. He's rocking that Edward that he kept to get through DKC.
But wait, and in the meantime, yeah, means that there's a question to be asked. Do you want to ask this?
It is a question that needs to be asked, and I would be honored to ask it.
Go for
it. Who's the guy gonna be? Was that right?
It works, but I think what chat was expecting was, whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
That was close. That was very close. Hey, we got sirens too.
Sirens are in the moon shop. That is nice to see.
Oh, that's fair. Scala Kitty is pointing out that it may not be a guy, which
yeah,
I don't know if Zeromus is technically a guy. He's a Lunarian.
Not even necessarily human. I mean, there's a very diverse set of options here.
Oh, that's a guy if I've ever seen one.
Definitely a guy.
Oh boy. It's it's hot on the East Coast this weekend.
Ain't that the truth? East Coast.
It just got a lot hotter.
Also true. Oh boy. So, no, penguin8r is indeed searching the moon. We know Legend Sword's not there, but conveniently he's just doing the face check, looking for a Leviathan. If he decides to do something level,
we don't know where the Leviathan is, so I mean, this definitely could be a good play.
Could work. As we know, you've got to sit through a long alt gauntlet to get through that.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of time to face check these bosses. Finding a free boss up here on the moon could lead to a nice little grind potential. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why this is a very smart play.
Yeah, and this is still, this is Dia's to lose. Penguin8r does need Dia to lose to Legimus at least once. And it's possible that, he finds Leviathan here and is able to come in with a more secure and quicker Z fight, especially with the extra levels off of anything else that's free, as you were pointing out. But yeah, advantage Dia, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, but Dia's in this fight first. But 1200 HP strats are not free. If she fails to nerf one of the big bangs, her parties can wipe. If she takes 2 big bangs in a row, even nerfed, then she can wipe. It's still not set in stone that she's going to come out on top here.
Yeah, nerfed into oh no, never mind. Keep wanting to say into Medio is going to ruin any fight, but you don't see Medio with Fu and Friends or 1200 because you never have the refill. You never go on to stage 3.
Nope, you have to do the 64,000 damage and then you're done.
Smapedy, I don't know if that's a hoof or maybe just a very cozy slipper.
I mean, it's clearly a ballerina flat, right?
I buy that.
It's Italian. It's definitely an Italian shoe. He's a very, very stylish man.
Penguin8r immediately putting those sirens to use says, "Give me some gold dragons, please." So actually deal with this moon properly.
I mean, and the fact that Penguin8r here is grinding means that he does intend to take on some bosses here on the moon, and is also setting himself for a far more traditional Zeromus fight.
Yeah. Chat pointing out that the Archfiends sound Italian. I think they're based off Dante's Inferno characters, right? Oh, thank you, Smapedy. Yes, exactly where I was going. Smapedy's on it.
Oh, I guess I did not realize that.
I learned here in Free Enterprise.
That's a fun fact. That's a fun fact that we should be spreading more. That's a nice literary hook.
Yeah, but I believe it's the original names that they're based. Not Valvalis, but Barbarisha, as she's otherwise known, I believe is the demon from Inferno. And Smapedy has not yet corrected me, so I assume I'm correct.
Yeah,
it's Scardiglione, not Mylon.
Yeah, it's those original names, the ones from from the Japanese version. They're quite difficult to pronounce, and I don't think you just said one out loud. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that said out loud.
I hope I pronounced it correctly. This is Foo and Friends at Work, everyone. You put walls on everyone and bounce nukes. That's the 1200 HP version of the strat. The Foo part comes in and that he's able to speed things up a little bit by bouncing his own much more high-powered nukes.
Yeah, overall, this has been an extremely smooth fight.
Do the White Spear Altar for Penguin8r.
That's free.
Granted, it's a White Spear Altar, so it's, you know, not as many levels as some other places, but, you know, we'll take it. And, you know, as far as Penguin8r is concerned, maybe this is a Legend Sword. Might as well.
Penguin8r taking this time to do some menuing, so that's good. But yeah, just waiting out the script and collecting a whole bunch of experience.
And also, only doing the menuing during the during the spell animations, so that he's not delaying the King and Queen Evelyn moving on to their next spell in their list. And gets a Protect Ring as we see flash over on Dia's screen. Legimus slowly sinking down into the void, and that will do. Dia will have her second win and will be moving on to the semifinals. And we're joined by Dia. GG.
Yeah, congratulations, Dia. I have to lead off with question number one. Your play when you pick up Kane to go immediately back to DKC. What inspired that, and how did you think of to do that so quickly?
Honestly, it was kind of the easiest thing available to me at that point. And like, even if it turns out to be nothing, I can just reset, take the Rydia, anchor with Kane, go do Dwarf. But I want to get some fight from this Edward. I know that I have that available to me. At this point, Rydia should be fast enough to allow Edward to get the high off. So go do that right now, and just see what it is. If it's anything that can give me more power before I take on this underground, great.
And it was the play. Hard required that DKC hook, eventually leading to that Legend Sword after a little bit of a chase. And it got you through. Now, the next question. How about that Z-Sprite?
Very laggy.
Also, in more seriousness, like, this was such a rude start. I mean, you expect the bracket stage to make things tougher for runners, but even for this part of the tournament, there was just so much work trying to get any traction, and that Sylph fortunately carried for a little while, and sure, there was a Sammy bow and eventually a dancing dagger, but there's definitely that point, like you said, when DKC at Leviathan is your easiest choice, it's definitely a commentary.
Yeah, and like, you saw, like, I had to spend 30k on a Dragon Whip so I could go to Twin Harp, because like I had no other option at that point. Like, I needed some way to do melee damage, I've not found any good arrows in shops. Let's buy the Dragon Whip, do some eggs, and pray.
Oh, go ahead, Gundam. I think you're about to tell her the same thing I was.
Yeah, Penguin8r did find the free Dragon Whip. I forget where. Do you remember where he found it?
It was the last Ordeals chest.
Okay.
But Dia, amongst the people in the community, is especially known for, why am I looting? Go, go, go. So.
I had Syl. Why would I loot?
Right.
Yeah, that Sylph was a really well timed find. With the party you had, did you what was your strategy if you didn't pull that Sylph? What were you going to rely on?
I was gonna go to the other side of hops real quick and pray.
Maybe Sylph's the freebie. Come on, come.
Otherwise, try to dancing dagger my way through ordeals, get Televirus, and hope I can find another character along the way.
The funny thing is by the time we got to the end and looked at the Z party, you'd have never known. It was a fabulous Z party. No fear there. Just the beginning.
I mean, it would have been a lot better if they're decent weapons. Blizzard Spear's okay, but that's not what you want taken to Z.
Yeah, true.
That's kind of do I grind? No, it's not going to speed anything up. It's a 9-minute Z fight if I just do Fear and Reflect on Battle Speed 6. If I grind, I can get Nuke on Rydia. That's going to take a year and a half, so... otherwise, Kane with a Blizzard Spear, Edge with basically nothing. Yeah, just reflect. Just reflect.
Yeah, luckily you did end up having enough money to buy enough Star Veils and to get at least a handful of vampires. Did you know your money situation was good, or were you shopping just kind of hoping you would pick up enough to make it through?
I knew I could go shorter on the Star Veils. I like to pick up a lot extra just for if this could go off the rail. If this goes off the rails somehow, I have a nice nest egg. The main thing I was looking for was the curatives, which I found vampires luckily, and I forgot to go pick up the Ether 2 like I wanted. So that could have actually ended up very bad because Phil was out of MP at the end there, and I had no other healing items except maybe 2 vampires, maybe 1. So it would have been pretty dicey if we didn't get the damage there in that last phase.
Well, with this win, you have moved on to the quarterfinals. It's been a long road, but you know that. You're no stranger to the long road to the final rounds of these tournaments. How are you doing this time around compared to some other tournaments? Has the pace been more grueling, or are things a little better than they were last time?
I think that if this tournament didn't start while it's still kind of cooling off and taking a break, this kind of started right when I was getting off of that break, so it's kind of a bit rough. Definitely feeling burnt out a little, but still good enough to go. I know I can still win this one.
Yeah, so you are facing X-Pancras in the semifinals.
Definitely.
Compared to a lot of the players in this tournament, he's a relatively new player. I think he's only been playing for 6-7 months, if that. But an extremely strong opponent. What are you going to change your strategy at all? Are you worried about anything that he is known for? What's your thoughts going into that match?
I'm just gonna make it look like round 1 of this tournament again.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Think I'm good on questions. Do you have anything else, Gundam? Dia, do you have any last thoughts? Anything you'd like to share?
Thanks for the commentary. Thanks to the Restream and Tracker as well. And yeah, it's going to be a long 2 weeks if I make it So, should be fun. And like all these matches are just going to be amazing. So, make sure you watch all of them.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Dia. Congratulations again, and good luck in the semifinals.
Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. Right.
So, yeah, while Dia was finishing up and while we were talking to her, penguin8r has gone through a whole bunch of bosses on the moon and has not found the noodle that he's looking for.
No. So that means Leviathan is either on the giant or behind the Luca key or behind the package.
Yeah, I wasn't quite keeping up with how many spots he's checked. I know he's checked the deepest altar. I think this is the crystal sword altar.
This is crystal, but I missed that he had skipped Murasame altar. Thank you, Escorian. So still got that to look.
So definitely could still be a Leviathan up there, but not really having much luck on the key items. I did see that I think a siren was the reward for taking on Lal-Bez. That's thing.
Yes, you did see that correctly. Pretty rude. And Ribbon Room also, I think, just had random treasure.
Well, there is at least something that he could yeet at Lal-Bez if he decides to. Or Zeramus. We already beat Lal-Bez.
Yes, Golbez is taken care of. Need no more yeeting to him, but yes, to Zeramus.
And I'm sorry, Legomus.
At this point, though, I think whenever and this might also been part of penguin8r's thinking. Whenever he does go back to that DKC, Yang should be strong enough to tank it. Wait, no, I'm doing it again. He beat DKC a long time ago. He just faded Baron Castle.
Yep, he's got the Baron key. Baron check is probably not a priority if he still has moon checks left, of course. But where else does he have to go? He's already done. He's done the tower. He's done Zot, right?
He's got Baron and he's got the Asura spot with the Mom Bomb.
Yeah, he's not going to fight that Mom Bomb. So I think once he leaves the moon, he's probably going to go to Baron Castle.
Yeah, like the only other check he doesn't have access to are, Luca could, from his point of view, hold both Legend and the Leviathan. Baron is 2 spots for Leviathan and 2 chances for the key item, so it does make sense that he'd go there next.
Yeah, I guess the only thing, I mean, there's package and the Luca key are still out there. That could be behind Mom Bomb or here.
Yeah, Luca could be here or Mom Bomb. Oh, Escorian noticed the package in Luca. So, yeah, so we have to find a Luca here or in Mom Bomb to get to the package. So, yeah, if there's a key item here, it is Luca. And I didn't see from Dia's tracker where Luca is.
Well, we don't have a snake, but we do have a fairly free boss here.
Yeah. And this won't pose any trouble, and see penguin8r move on after this. So we mentioned that the tournament's wrapping up. So not near as much time being filled up on the channel here with tournament races. With that, we are bringing back community races. Tomorrow, Free Enterprise will be our first community race since we took a break from for the tournament.
Yeah, for anyone who got into Free Enterprise during this event and may not be aware, the Free Enterprise community holds races all the time, even when there isn't a big tournament going on. We hold two weekly community races, one Monday, one Friday. They share the same flag set, and the flag set changes every week. And of course, during regular time, there's also plenty of other clubs. There's the new Free Enterprise ladder that is new as of only a couple weeks ago. There's so much Free Enterprise out there for everyone to participate in. It's fantastic. So I'm going to encourage everyone to join our Discord. Even if you're kind of shy about racing, it's a great place to get started. Ask questions about of experts. Everyone you see racing here and commentating and restreaming. All of us are eager to help people get into Free Enterprise. So just please come by and join us.
Yeah, and it's also a good spot to come in and help out if you like being on the side of things that we are. Always looking for people to help with commentary, tracking, restreams, to help call the show for community races. So there's also information in the Discord if you're interested in that as well.
Yeah, I think that one of the great things about the community races is it really helps, especially when you're starting out. It helps to watch a lot of different people play the same seed that you played. So community races, we typically get like 15 to 20 people. Everyone's required to stream, so even if you're not racing, you can play that same seed and then go back and watch a couple different players take on the same seed and kind of learn from them. It's a great opportunity to practice.
Yeah, that's definitely where I've picked up a lot of things from exactly that. I mean, no one's gonna come into, well, almost nobody's gonna come into this community and play at the level you're seeing here. You're seeing the best of the best running very well, and just as Gundam says, being able to run through a seed and trying to figure out your own way through it, and then you watch someone else go through it and you see maybe the trick that Dia uses to get past the DKC, for instance, and you go, oh, hey, nice.
Hey, that's a rope.
It is. Penguin8r has found his go mode. Heck that Baron Castle.
Yeah, so I think that Penguin8r's party right now it's a much more traditional Zeroma setup. He seems to. I mean, he took out every single boss on the moon. He is ready for the Zeroma's fight. As soon as he gets this objective, he's going to get his crystal, and he will be on his way.
Yeah, and instead of, as you say, the more non-standard method of bouncing nukes and reflecting nukes until Zeromus goes down, I think we're just going to see a straight, we're going to cut you down and you're going to refill, and we're going to see the full script this time.
Yeah, I think that like one of the great things about Free Enterprise, because I replayed Final Fantasy IV Vanilla just casually before I got into Free Enterprise, and Zeromus is a hard boss. But the number of ways in Free Enterprise that you come up to kind of like cheese him is really fun, and it really is a real joy. And he's a lot harder than a lot of the runners you watch here make him look. Even after killing him 100 times, he can still throw something at you interesting.
Yeah, never take Zeromus for granted when you're going after him. He will usually punish you for it. Still in hand after defeating Leviathan, Penguin8r will be landing outside of Korea and will be heading in for his own date with Legomus. So, Side Marshal and Project Dia talking about unicorns. What's that all about, Gundam?
Oh boy, I'm not sure what a unicorn does, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
Fair enough.
It cures
the question to you, but I can take it. So, here's the Zeromus script. Zeromus, somewhere around 45,000 points of damage. Chat is going to give me an exact number soon enough. Refills his hit points because, due to memory limitations, Zeromus's actual hit points are too big for the game. So they cheat by having him reload his hit points. But that is a trigger that only responds to direct damage. So you can do a lot less damage, as Dia showed us, if you never deal that direct damage. Penguin8r's party is going to have to deal a fair amount of direct damage to get things going with Edge and Yang, and will probably berserk to charge in. But a Unihorn, when used on your party, will heal the berserk, and it'll stop the berserkers. They'll probably have one more swing still queued up after the Unihorn, so you need to leave yourself some wiggle room. But it's a way to take advantage of direct melee attacks, but still skip the refill.
Okay, so definitely that is what I thought a unicorn did. I just I don't know if I've ever actually used one in any free enterprise.
I've never done it. Yeah. I've never done it, but I've seen it done and I've heard it explained.
I know. Mist Dragon is a good one to use unicorn strats against, because you can cancel the berserk when they go into the mist phase.
Yeah, same theory. We'll see if that is Penguin8r's plan. Right now, he's got a healing cured up for whoever eats this nuke, but nope, never mind. Comes straight off the wall, and there we go. As Scorian noted, the spoon has not been darted. If you're a damage counter, you can save your spoon dart for the final blow. Whether you are counting without skipping the refill, like if you're within 10,000 of Zeromus going down, you also can't trigger a counterattack, which is what the refill is, if you're out of hit points. So the spoon could be saved for that. And even if you're just doing traditional Zeromus strats, you can use a spoon to push yourself through the Meteo phase if you get the dreaded Big Bang into Meteo combo.
Oh, all of this sounds like it requires a lot of math, which is something I try to avoid at all costs.
Just really fast addition while you're trying to think about making sure your Z-Fight doesn't otherwise go off the rails. Oh no, why did I agree to do this? Ah!
Yeah, let's just, say that, Penguin8r ran a great seed. And 1 hour, 35 minutes for the kind of start that the seed had is an incredible time. And it's just, it really was one choice, right? It was that one choice that really made the huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, depending on how the key items shuffle, it's not unusual to have one spot be the linchpin. The thing you're going to need to get through to find the efficient route through the seed, and it was the DKC this time, and Dia went after it sooner, and that was the difference. But yeah, absolutely. Penguin8r has made so many checks, everything but the giant package boss and that Bay March, and is still through this cranky flag set in a little under 1:40.
So Penguin8r not showing off unicorn strats, but showing us silver staff strats. If you want to get even more obscure into the free enterprise strategies.
Use it as an item. Heal the berserk. Very nice. He too is going to skip the refill.
Yeah, I mean, Penguin8r's knowledge of this game is pretty incredible as well. Like, he's a known Final Fantasy IV speedrunner.
Yes.
So, you know, just in that alone shows that his mastery of this game is exceptional. And then Free Enterprise is just, you know, shaking that up and making him make new, interesting decisions along the way.
Tried for a spoon finish though, but we get a counter nuke, and that means that it was not enough, and that should mean that we're refilled and on to phase 2. Oh yes, good point, as Possum and D are pointing out. If that had been a phase tip off of the spoon, we wouldn't have even seen the nuke. So that's probably why we saw the spoon come out. Penguin8r realized that maybe the silver staff didn't come in time, and the tip had already happened, so we might as well get phase 2 underway before things get really icy.
Yeah, just a little unfortunate. His party's still able to take some of these big bangs. He was relying on Rydia's Asura to do the bulk of the healing here, so hopefully he'll be able to pull that off now, and then it should just be resetting up his Zerks and his walls.
Reapplying the Zerk, gets Rydia up, looking for that 2/3 chance for the full heal. Putting some run buffers in, he's got the heal.
Yeah, it's always a little nerve-wracking relying on Asura, because she does have the 1 in 3 chance to throw Life 1 on all your party members, which does not help.
She lets you know beforehand, like the 3 faces flicker, and there's a ever so slight pause on the face that she's going to land on before it moves on. So you do see your fate a little bit before the spell comes out. Yeah, Rydia is just not tough enough to survive an unnerfed Big Bang, so in order to stir up, he's going to have to revive her each time. Right now, going for the healing from Fu. Wow, I am crossing all sorts of wires here today. We're both old.
We've got media phase, so we're at under 10,000 damage left. Hopefully just a couple swings from Edge and Yang, and this will be over.
Circle him up. If nothing else, Yang has the hit points needed to survive a lot of rocks, because we just lost our ninja. Looks like there's enough MP for a targeted Cure 3 from Fu. Things get close.
What a nerve-wracking finish for Penguin8r.
There it is.
But
Penguin8r makes it through.
Finished. 1 hour, 40 minutes, 46 seconds, coming in second tier to Dia, and closing out his Lali-Ho League showing.
It was a great run by Penguin8r. Get on through just the or Penguin8r, our penguin gif. Penguin8r has one after each one, and Penguin getting knocked off the soccer ball.
Let's see if we can get Penguin8r in here for an interview.
Yeah, like you said, heck of a runner, heck of a tournament, heck of a seed. And yes, he is joining us. GG.
Thank you.
You kept us on the edge of our seat in that Z fight there, Penguin8r, but well done in the end.
Thanks. Yeah, it was pretty close on that silver staff, I think. Just a little bit too much damage on the berserking, and tipped it a little early. As ideally, the spoon could have finished it, and unfortunately, Rudy and Fu are like the two weakest spellcasters in terms of actual damage output, so it's kind of hard to finish with them.
Yeah, chat was calling for Unicorn strats when you were getting ready, but I'm glad you gave us the more niche version of the berserk canceling.
Just didn't have any unicorns. I don't think I fully shopped the overworld, so just used what I had and figured it wouldn't bother berserking edge.
Makes sense, and especially on this flag set, you are not likely to have everything you want. Speaking of that, there wasn't much at the beginning of the seed. It was a bit rough in terms of party selection. What was your thought as far as trying to get things to open up?
Yeah, kind of a reject percent start. I think we started with a samurai bow, just in the starting kit. So
Yes.
thinking either get Edward set up for archery with some nice arrows, or find a dancing dagger for him to throw at stuff. I think found charm arrows somewhere in the shop, which figured could get me along, at least initially, and then Rudia, certainly not the best, but finding the sylph made it actually worthwhile to level her a bit and let her get in on the action, and then kind of rushing our deals to get Tella as the primary damage dealer for a bit as well.
Yep, and then you got the Dragon Whip on the way, which gave you options. Came in handy when you found that harp and had to deal physical damage. Then you wander over to Dwarf, hoping, hey, maybe this will be something reasonable, and oops, it's a Val.
Yeah, wanted nothing to do with that foul initially. So picking up the cane from the Sand Ruby was kind of a godsend there. I'm not sure that I actually did the fastest strat with the jumping. I might have been better off just berserking. I'm not sure. It still felt pretty slow.
Yeah, the major difference between you and Dia was when you decided to re-challenge Dark Knight Cecil. We were actually surprised that you went back to Feymarch after getting the Darkness Crystal. Why did you decide to head back to the Feymarch before going up to clear the moon?
I knew it was a quick pickup, and I specifically made character choices on Zot in order to set up for that fight. I kept the Edward over the cane and picked up a fresh Porum to use as my anchor so that I could get the hide off in time on that fight. And I mean, I could have ignored it, but I guess I figured part of it was actually, because I didn't see the Darkness Crystal yet, so I was thinking, well, maybe the Darkness is stuck there, so I kind of need to take the setup for that fight, just in case I get completely blocked by it. So then I figured it was still worth committing to it once I'd kind of nerfed my party by keeping the Edward.
Yep, and I don't know if you talked it over with Dia afterwards, but Legend Sword was hanging out in the Baron trash can. That was the other way through.
Yeah, that's kind of what I gathered just once I popped in and looked at the tracker. Getting the hook from the Dark Knight, and so getting that objective right away, I was thinking, okay, I got some value off this check. Now I want to rush Moon to finish things off. And I'm happy with that choice. I think there's definitely a world where, Dia's on the moon and ignored that Dark Knight, and I think that would put me in a pretty good position.
Yeah, makes sense. There's a lot of key items and a lot of bosses, and you just needed either one to be found, and it just happened that neither were on the moon this time.
It's certainly hard to ignore a moon once it's opened up, especially that late in the game.
Yeah, and like you were saying, it came down to when and how hard we committed to that Dark Knight, I think. At least just looking at the post-match trackers. And there's several ways I could have played out. I'm happy with how I played it, but of course, in this particular scenario, it didn't work out for me, but there's definitely ways that either Dia plays differently or the key items fall differently that I think my choice could have been the right one.
Yeah, it's the hard part of randomizers sometimes, that you can make all the right choices and still not come out on top. But do you thank you for letting us watch your race.
Definitely.
It's unfortunate you won't be advancing on, but do you have any final thoughts on the tournament or the seed in particular?
Pretty happy with how I ran today. Happy I got to Dragon Whip a couple of moon bosses. I hope people enjoyed that. And GG, and good luck cooking some pancakes next week.
Sounds tasty, and thanks again for putting on the show, and looking forward to seeing more of you. And with that, as we wrap up, I'd like to give one last thanks to my co-commentator, Gundam Pilot Spaz, our tracker, Scordian, and Restreamer SmateD, and all of you hanging out here in the audience to watch the show.
Thank you for your hard work, Commander Leonhardt. As always, it's been a pleasure. We will be sending everyone for more fun randomizer action. But we're going back in time this time, even further back in time, I guess, to Final Fantasy I randomizer over on RPG to Limit Break.
Yeah, one of our partner channels, so we've restreamed a fair amount of matches over there. Without their help, we wouldn't be able to bring you as much free enterprise action as we have during this tournament, so let's all go over and show them some love.
Yeah.
Things I said wrong, I apologize.
Don't forget to check out the Discord and everything for the semifinal schedule coming up soon.